Good morning, everybody. So, I listened to a podcast that's new to me. It's called Episodes and Epiphanies. The particular episode is called Phoenix and Fire. The podcaster was speaking about how she doesn't like how businesses have poor communication, especially when it affects her children. And she was like, if you know her, this is something that she does not like. And therefore, the episode Phoenix and Fire, she goes off. And so, if you know anything about me, you know that I am the same way. The point of the episode is that she's celebrating the progress that she has made. And that is a thing that I kind of like to do as well, that I have made a lot of progress in that how I handle the way that I communicate, particularly in the business setting and other official settings when I'm upset, and learning how to communicate better. So also notes that I have taken is that she says, sometimes everything is going wrong for the right reasons. And my note is, are those times, and the purpose is that for you to later on become the voice, the advocate, or the expert in that particular situation. I know that when that has happened to me, that is what I, sometimes tend to become. I tend to become an advocate for that particular thing. Because I have been through some things that I don't necessarily discuss. But what I do know is that without my husband and my circle, which happens to include a lot of people who also work for the government, then I would not have made it through professionally or successfully, and I would continue to handle it in the inappropriate and hurtful manner, which led me to think about the incident that just happened with the young child who died in the custody of the Alabama child and welfare system. Now, I know that is definitely a time where I would need my circle around me to help me to know how to communicate and handle this thing appropriately. Because this is definitely a time where the communication in a business has gone awry. I read 2 follow-up articles where the worker called the families and apologized. And in those articles, they didn't mention that her lawyer was present or that her lawyer was on the phone. I think that is also a failure of proper business communication. Now, I know that we as people, we would like to directly speak to the people with whom we have harmed, but I think that this may cause more harm to herself because, as we all know, legally, anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. She is being faced with some charges. Now, she does say in here that she received a call from work letting her know that she had no more cases for the day. And therefore, that's how she kind of got off kilter, got off of her schedule, and didn't realize that she had this little boy. Now, when it comes to effective communication with a business, I'm kind of believing that they should have also checked in with her to find out how it went with the case that she already had for that day. They should not have just called her and said, you have no more cases for the day. They should have said, how did it go with the drop-off with such and such family today? How do you feel about this with this visit? However, it's just a little article, a little snippet. So we don't know who called her. We don't know how long that phone call lasted. We don't know the fine details. So it just appears that this is more poor communication with a business and a government entity. So the podcaster, she specifically was given an incident on how she communicated with a front desk staff, and when she showed up for an appointment, or it could have been a doctor, whoever she spoke to, she clearly spoke with someone, and when she showed up, she wasn't treated the way that she expected to be treated. The front desk staff had a different thing in mind, and the doctor with whom her child came to see has something different in mind. Now, when people don't communicate with each other on what the expectations are, why you are here, that can be very frustrating and cause you to behave a certain way. And when you have a certain protocol, like in the case with this child in Alabama, you expect that you're going to go pick up my child from daycare. You're going to come, you're going to do the supervised supervision, and you're going to take my child right on back to daycare. And as a fellow social worker, I'm going to expect that your supervisor is going to check back in with you, or someone will. But we don't know because there's details being left out. So, my question that I have for you as it relates specifically to the podcast episode: do you believe that there are times where everything is going wrong for the right reasons? And if so, what do you think it is? And if you don't think so, how do you feel when things are going wrong for you or going awry? How do you feel and how do you deal with it? Check in and let me know.